Hello and welcome back to the summer split of the LPL here in 2018. It's late night in the summer Shanghai, and we're ready for our second game here between BLG and EDG. Now, BLG, if you have just joined us, took game 1. That's right.
Yeah.
I don't know if they wrecked themselves though, because they are the comeback kids. Now, I feel like you have to lose game 1 if you're going to come back in the series. So they did come back in game 1.
It's not very anime of them, is it?
No,
To lose that first game. But of course, they have started with the map advantage over EDG. And as much as I do want to credit BLG, and I think they are deserving of some praises, Amazing J with the MVP, Road looking very good on his pike, and overall cohesion from the team. Even Mole, assassinating people on the Talon looked fantastic. It's still a point to be made that EDG were making a lot of mistakes, a lot of errors, and most of them unforced errors. They did it of their own volition, and they are the ones who were made to pay for that by losing the first game.
And the old pike was popping off, but at the same time, it seems like it was just heat-seeking missiles towards iBoy every single time. Seemed to just find his head and take him out.
I mean, iBoy also was heat-seeking towards the barrage from Gangplank.
He was running into the missile.
And he'd just try and dance in it like a kid in a sprinkler. I just think it was the best experience, and he'd die.
So he was a monk trying to use deflect missiles. Too much damage. EDG will ban away the Talon. I like it. The Swain, also like it. And also the Sejuani right here. BLG on Bread side will take away the Zoe, the Talia, both of which could be scout bans, also a Haro ban, and the Aatrox, of course, which means that there is an option to go for the Kindred first, and indeed, that's what EDG do.
Yeah, and of course, being red side and blue side not changing between the sets so far. EDG still with the same priorities even after defeat, and I think that's a good thing from them. Now, on the opposite side, you'll see the Rakan immediately locked in. This is something we mentioned in the first game. Pulse, how important the Rakan can be for Road alongside the Pike as potential options.
It's going to be the Lovers duo into the bottom lane this time around, though. Saw that a lot earlier today in our series from JD and TOP. And my heart skipped a beat because there was a hover over a Master Yi, but it seems like the Taric Yi days are a little bit over here in the LPL, unfortunately. On the opposite side, EDG. No.
This is a viable lock-in, though, for EDG. iBoy has actually played the pick now, so their diversity in draft is much more conceivable here. They get the mages in the bottom lane as the big carries, so alongside this, Morgana could be a Pike, could be anything you would like now for Mako, actually enabling the support of EDG.
Yes, indeed. Morgana definitely goes alongside a lot of different picks down in the bottom lane, still only with a 33% win rate, recurring, of course, in the LPL. And Darius, looking at this one, will be picked up. There we go. Actually, above 50% win rate on that one.
Now, Darius has been seen in both mid and top lane, but it should be Ray's pick in this particular game. Of course, Darius was going mid into Aurelia. Always a possibility for someone like Mole to pick that champion of choice up, so we'll have to see where Mole goes directionally. And BLG, they've got other things in mind. They've got other priorities right now.
There's the GP once again, and to be honest, that was definitely the linchpin of that last game coming in from Amazing J. I mean, that stopwatch was clutch, as was iBoy misclicking, but we'll say it was Amazing J. And still, strong on that champion, so we'll see what BLG look to take away from EDG now.
I think the best way to explain it, Pulse, is it does still take safe hands to catch the throw, regardless of how good or bad the throw is. And BLG had the safest hands in the LPL in that last game.
Also true. That's fair. That's a steady catch. Ezreal ban out against iBoy once again. Second time in the series. Skarner ban towards Chieftain.
Skarner ban.
That is hilarious, but also quite relevant. I feel like Chieftain just take him away from comfort, and to be honest, Skarner is the comfort champion for Chieftain.
Yeah, Skarner was played well by Chieftain. As it is a comfort pick, like you mentioned, he still executed on it brilliantly, denying flanks and denying engages from EDG. It was a big part of the composition success for BLG in the end. When you really put 2 and 2 together, Road rather, the one going forwards, Chieftain protecting the team, Mole assassinating in the backline. They worked in a harmony that should not have been as cohesive as it was. Nonetheless, very successful from BLG. So a warranted ban, whilst a little bit weird to watch it.
Orianna banned away right there as well, just in case it goes into A, the mid lane, B, the bottom lane. Probably not, because we already have the Lovers duo. Just being conditioned by Y4 at this point, I'll be honest. Alistair also going to be the ban against EDG towards the bottom lane. None of that from Mako. None of the big playmakers from him. Pike's still open though if he wants it.
Gragas and Shen were the 2 bans in the first game here by EDG away from BLG. So you saw that Gragas hover potentially available for the top lane or the jungle. Amazing J and Chieftain. Of course, with their gangplank secured, we've only seen it mid lane once, I believe. So it's most likely that we've got our top lanes locked as
Yep.
the immediate hover excites me for Scout.
That was the Freljordian Troll King coming in for BLG. That's Trundle. Likely going to go to Chieftain right here. And EDG, do it, Scout. I'd like to see some more LeBlanc today. Hey, there we go. There we have it. Solid 50% win rate. That's, yeah, that LeBlanc earlier in the day that we saw from Yagao was crispy. So we'd like to see that one once again. And EDG, looking at potential Shen, would be great on top of that LeBlanc.
It would be putting the Morgana towards iBoy's hands, so I like that they have still shown that he can play it, and they will continue to pick that as an option. Shen Morgana, very oppressive in the 2v2.
Yeah.
But against this Aya Rakan, it's not as simple as just being a strong lane. They'll have a hard time early. But having the Shen there, denying a lot of the damage from the Xayah is always going to be a very big deal. They've got the Kindred and the Darius to round them out with some physical damage across the board. So EDG have done it again as far as comps go. They've given themselves good mixed damage, high threat composition, but with limited engage.
Limited engage, but also playmaking potential from Scout, and I feel like that is one of the things that can push you over the line. If you were EDG, let's hope that Scout finds the 1v9. At the same time, Ray can also pop off in these team fights, so yeah, there's more chance for solo carries in the team fights and the rest of the game itself. And that was a Rise coming in from Mar, of course, playing into that LeBlanc in the mid lane.
Yeah, not the Talon, of course, banned in game number 2. Swain also banned as well as Orianna, so they get rid of a lot of options in the middle lane. And with Zoe and Tilly are removed from themselves, BLG, they go towards the Rise. Guaranteed crowd control, guaranteed lockdown, and the utility from the ultimate are always the big things you look at with the Rise pick. So having that Trundle at level 2, perhaps with the pillars to enable you to get that crowd control off and just machine gun the damage out, Mol could find himself in a fantastic position in this game.
Could indeed, and it was a strong first showing for him as well in game 1, so definitely could follow through right here. Again, we actually get to see ourselves on the opposite side. Road picking up the Rakan, always a treat. Definitely a playmaker in his own right. Saw the Pike in the last game. We know him as a Bard player. And the ultimate quickness plus the flash going to be no different in this game too.
You know, the thing with Road is that he'll make the play, and when he presses that R button, he's most likely going to be knocking up and charming someone. But you never know if it's the correct timing. You just know that he'll hit it. That's the thing with Road. So we'll see how he goes in this game. If he can keep the cohesion with the rest of BLG, as they've started this series 1-0 up and in the driver's seat to take home a 2-0 against their rivals, and being the underdogs, that's a big deal.
It is indeed. Imagine getting a 2-0 here today, BLG. I mean, we talked about the fact that, you know, the points don't matter, the scores don't matter. Get it out of here. 2-6 BLG, 7-2 Edward Gaming right now, but when it's EDG versus BLG, that's all that matters.
Here's the thing with Bilibili Gaming, Pulse.
What's that?
They're still the same roster. They made playoffs last split. The roster still exists. So for them to be missing out on free games, on easy victories, means they have to win these hard ones if they want to keep up and continue towards the playoffs race. They want to finish top 4, get into the gauntlet, get themselves a shot at Worlds. This could be that first step in that direction.
I mean, that's it really. BLG are the comeback kids. They like to make those big old runs late into the bracket. But there are a lot of strong contenders to split, I'll have to say.
Yeah, there are.
On both the East and the Western Conference, to be honest. You've got to get through at least 4 good teams. Like world contender good teams. Maybe thinking of 5th out there as well. You think of JD Gaming, of course they had the upset loss today, but still a formidable threat. So then you're looking at BLG and they're sitting around, you know, if you think of them playing up, they're around like 6th. And we have 14 teams, that's near the middle. So they've got to do a lot of legwork if they want to break in to potentially making a world run.
Yeah, even getting playoffs right now, they need 2 more wins to catch up to Suning Gaming. Now, Suning haven't looked completely in form anymore, so the opportunity is there for them. This would be the time to do it for BLG. And when you look at their composition, the Xayah Rakan, the carry potential for Jin Zhao, someone who has been known to carry in the past. The Jin Zhao of old with the Kog'Maw is what comes to mind. Now that he's got Chieftain and Mole, they're the pivot point with which they'll find success, BLG, in the early game. And they have to do it against Scout and Haro.
I mean, that's it really. Jin Zhao, when he's given the opportunity, will carry. As we get to see the deer, the majestic, look over the rift as I hand it over to Shanghai once more.
Was that LGD?
It sounded like it.
We're hearing defectors across the board from EDG.
Oi.
You can see the pigs in the signs as well in support of Clear Love. It is his birthday and he's sitting backstage, so EDG may be looking to get a victory in his name.
That would be nice. He doesn't want to have to stand up, walk onto stage. It's like, all right, kitty gloves are off, let's go. But no, he'd rather sit backstage on his birthday, chill out.
Look at the cohesion, the front row just littered with signs in support of EDG as well.
Of course.
We compared it to the NFL.
Hey, it's the duck.
Just not a bunch of grown men with paint on their chest. That's the difference.
I prefer ours, if I'm being honest, Rusty. Over here in the Chinese LPL. Meanwhile in the mid lane, there we go, just kicking it off. Scout just getting his hands dirty. Going to be going for that electrocute in the mid lane. Going to be a phase rush on the side of Mole as well. And in the top lane, it's going to be a Kleptomancy. Is this the AJ patented Sapphire Crystal start? We're about to find out as we tap away from the Keystone.
Lots of damage in mid lane as well. You have to look at the Keystones for a bit longer, Pulse. Of course, it's not going to be. It's the Corrupting Potion. He's into a Darius, and he has gone towards the Kleptomancy, so he'll be hitting Q as much as he can. I know what the Mana Crystal can do for that, but you also want the health with the Mana against the Darius.
Amazing Jay, he doesn't care. Literally the first time I saw him, it was into an aggressive matchup that GP actively loses.
Yes.
So it was like, oh, Mana Crystal.
It was. And to be fair, he was wrong, and they lose a lot through the start of the split, so maybe he's worked it out, Pulse.
Maybe. Corrupting Potion. One step away from godliness. Harry's going to find himself the crab on top side. The Troll King making his way towards the bottom lane. Nice little binding there into the combo. That's going to be a taunt follow-up as well from Mako. Yeah, indeed. One piece of CC lands, but there's the return from Road. What do you say about me? I'm going to make sure that I put back the damage towards you.
It's a crazy combo here when you look at a Shen and Morgana in the bottom lane. If one piece of crowd control connects, the next is sure to follow. And so with all of that CC there, the damage can be output. Shen needs 3 autos to maximize it as EDG have brought 3 people top at level 3.
Well, this time, you don't have stopwatch, do you? So best of luck here, Amazing Jay. You're going to have to play this one perfectly, but Scout coming in from the mid lane. Oh, Ray! Was that necessary? That's going to be first blood to EDG.
Easy kill here from EDG. Now, with the death timer changes, Amazing Jay will be back and teleporting soon, and EDG do not have enough health to consider stopping him from catching waves, removing the teleport advantage. But you take the kill, you feel real good for yourself, and you can see the runes on your screen now for Ray. He's going to go fast if he gets any advantages, and he's got boots to go very fast.
True. And he didn't go Chrysalis. Impossible. Can't believe it. Good stuff. Just nice to see some diversity. I just waiting for the day where Demolish is good again, because I absolutely love that one.
Yeah, Demolisher was good when it first came out, when the runes Reforged first actually existed. Tanks going towards turrets, split pushing constantly. And it's not that the rune is bad, it's that there are better options.
Yeah.
That's how you have to look at runes right now, and that's usually the way League of Legends works, and the meta revolves. There's just a best.
Whoa, definitely hurts right here. Amazing Jay just not having a good time in top lane. Gets the Klepto though, so we'll get a free ward to place in that brush. That feels good. Now he's actually got Chieftain into the top lane. He's going to be onto the Crux and maybe come in for the counter gank. We'll see if Ray continues to push. This equalizes from AJ.
Nice binding again.
Keeps on landing. Ignite comes down. There's the follow through as well from the Shadow Dash, and Road uses all of his abilities to get the heck out of dodge right there. There's a bit of damage in return from Jinjiao, but I don't know how he does it, but iBoy just finds these bindings.
It's a nice little combo when you look at the 2v2 here of the Shen and the Morgana into Xayah and Rakan. One of the things that makes it so good is that for binding connects or for Shen taunt hits, Shen is usually the target from Xayah. It's where the feathers will be stacking. It's not going to be in range of a Morgana, but a spell shield will be there to be used on Mako. So it is very hard to lock them down or deal damage at all. So they get the trades. This time Ignite was used. The kill was not secured, but the control of the lane was forged by them with the free recalls to be seen.
AJ getting push off in top lane. When this wave resolves though, this will be Darius being very far ahead if he nets all of these minions. So that's something to note. In the top sides of the map. Meanwhile in the mid lane, actually small disadvantage over to Mole, even though we've had LeBlanc generally getting priority of that lane.
And left lane, so that's where the CS advantage really is. At the same time, however, Rise through the early game runs out of mana all the time. Has a very rough time trying to sustain and clear waves against an opponent. So LeBlanc will catch up, will clear this wave, and a chunk of it will be missed under the turret by Mole regardless. Things still looking very good here from EDG.
Yes, indeed, moving towards this bottom side right here. Rushing in the wave, not sure if he's going to be able to get anything done. He is level 5, of course, so no Lamb's Respite on this one. He'll be able to look for that tower dive. Meanwhile, goes back to his jungle, knows that Red Buff will be spawning shortly. The first dragon of the game will be an Infernal. Nice of you to join us.
It's going to get hot on the bottom side of the map with that Infernal being available. And you saw the Kindred already down here from EDG. Perhaps trying to find Chieftain, maybe looking for a gank. Of course, Trundle, very strong enabler in the bottom lane by just having the pillar. Forces summoner spells more often than not. Let alone throwing a Rakan into the mix there to start the engages off. So maybe that's what Haro was looking towards. Either way, he doesn't find what he's after. So he's just going to go back to clearing the jungle, scaling up, getting that level 6. And that's a thing that a lot of EDG will want.
Of course, haven't made a bot lane play just yet. The pattern to the bot lane play from EDG, the 4-man collapse, hasn't really shown itself, but maybe come level 6 for Haro, becomes an option on the menu. And Scouts just still farming out in the mid lane, probably looking for another back before they really execute on that. We're looking towards Molo, moving towards the top side, just getting the Scry's Bloom down. Hey, there's a ward in my lane. Should probably clear that one out.
Actually get a chance to do that. And of course, Tribush current pressure from EDG's bottom lane. We're actually looking at top lane this game, Pulse. This has surprised me. In that last game, we didn't even get a chance to go up here for the first 10 minutes.
There was a top lane.
Yeah, pretty much invisible, but with the early pressure from EDG, with the early roams from EDG, it has started entirely different.
Yeah, and to be honest, Ray's just been really blasting AJ, to be honest, in terms of farm. Of course, that initial dive went a long ways to be able to do so, but that first blood meant the acceleration on the Ninja Tabbies, on the boots, meaning it's easier to close in against the Gangplank, meaning it's easier to do this.
Not connect. I'm upset.
It's max range.
It's not. It just doesn't look like it's max range. That's what upsets me about that ability.
The other thing is, I've been seeing this from a couple of Dariuses, and I actually think it's legitimate tech now, where you'll look to find the pull when there's a cannon minion in front of you, and use that hitbox to keep them in the outer ring, so you can follow up with an instant Q. I've seen it too many times. I saw it from Zatai the other day, and I was like, nah, that was accident. But I just saw it again now from Ray, so I actually think it's legitimate tech coming in from Darius players.
You are the cheese lord, so we can't confirm or deny it, because you look at things very differently to other people.
That.
You see a cannon minion and you think, I can pull them on this wave. I see a cannon and I think, that's a lot of gold, I should get it.
I'm just saying, it's a guaranteed outer swing on the axe. I want to see it one more time, and then I'll confirm the theory.
I will say, you know, for League of Legends trade patterns, minions are the avenue to do so through laning phases.
Usually not like that, though. Whoa. A bit of a swap there, right there from Road. I like it. Of course, got that extended range, jumping back to Xayah.
Do the do-si-do.
Yeah. Well, it's a bit scary, though, because remember this bottom lane, if one piece of CC lands, the other one will. Taunt for, what, 1.5 seconds, 1.25 seconds, and followed up by iBoy in the black, the Dark Binding, I should say, which lasts for 3 centuries.
Yeah, it does. And absurdly long. CC duration is the spell of iBoy with that Q. At the end of the day, nothing actually happens down there. Farming still continuing as per normal. Top lane's the only one with the real advantage to be seen. And, you know, through all of this, Ray is a very good teleport player. That wasn't spotted.
Wow.
He just played around vision perfectly, Haro.
Do you think he knew?
It's hard to say. In the last skirmish, if it was placed, that could be the thing that they saw or didn't see. Either way, he's going to be able to pick himself up an Infernal Drake completely unseen. Blimey.
That's going to be the follow-through into the bottom lane. What did we just say? Jumps backwards, but there's no escape from iBoy. Actually, maybe there is. He's burning out, though. Stop, drop, and roll, and it might be enough. Here comes the teleport out from Mako. Does a sidestep right there. It's going to be no kills, but lots of summoners burn.
The hard commit from EDG to get that kill. Once a piece of CC hits, they follow it. iBoy flashes under the turret and keeps chasing Road, who has so much mobility that he's still able to get away from that after all of the crowd control hits him. The Road survives, Flash traded, and iBoy almost dying to the turret means that he did have to use the stopwatch. Maybe it's a lack of communication here between Mako and iBoy, because the Shen ultimate was there to give him the shield.
Good possibility.
Stopwatch wasted.
Yeah. Stopwatch wasted in the end. That's a big deal from Morgana, because she's not going to be picking up that Zhonya's for quite some time now, even if she rushes it first. So
yeah, they usually rush the Luden's Echoes.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It is a long time.
Now, time finds the combo onto AJ, but Chieftain's here in the top lane. It's 2 versus 1, but never counter Darius out. He finds the Axe Swing once again, finds the extra damage on that one, looking for a potential ultimate reset. iBoy was thinking about teleporting, but doesn't happen. It's enough to stop the kill, and BLG will not get the win, but they knock Ray out of lane, and Mo and Road were thinking about rotating to the top lane. They're going to catch him on the Scry's Bloom, so now they have control over top side.
A bit of deja vu here from BLG between games 1 and 2, with Road being freed from lane. Regardless of win or lose in lane, Road finds opportunities to leave, and he's going towards top lane pretty consistently, and now Mole threatening mid.
Assassination attempt. Ooh, dodge out there from Scout, jumping back to initial distortion pad. And Mako was also from the bottom side as well, so he was there to potentially assist. This doesn't happen in the end. We're 11 minutes in, and EDG currently leading. That's going to be double Infernals on the docket. If I've learned anything from today, Rusty, from predicting these, it's going to be a third one after that.
Yeah, most likely. It's a hot and heavy at the moment. Scout threatening Road.
Again, Road jumping back to his ally. Mako's there thinking about the point. A blank shadow dash, double dash once again from Road, but is at the end of his. We'll see. Harrow chasing him down will be the quickness to run away.
Road just gets the recall now. The big thing here that you have to consider is that he did not rush boots of mobility like most Rakans or supports will want to do. Instead, he goes towards the Merc treads. So instead, he's able to get away from all of that constant crowd control they're layering onto him and get to safety. This has saved him countless times already. And also doesn't get them the kill when he looked towards that mid-skirmish about a minute prior. It survives and lets him live in the fight after. So the conscious choice here from BLG.
Yeah.
Very smart from Road.
Surprisingly important purchase actually coming in from the early game as his rush item.
Which, of course, is amusingly matched almost across the board here. A lot of CC on individual members of each respective team. Rise having the lockdown means that Scout has gone towards one. Scout having the CC means that Mole has gone for one. And it just layers everywhere. Yep. With all that layering, it's very smart from both teams. But they're choosing the defense early. They're choosing the boots early. They're not looking to maximize their damage output and push any kind of advantages or leads. The only one that's really doing that is Darius, and that's expected. I
mean, to be fair, game 1 was a little bit nutty. Because, you know, yes, we didn't have action up until, I would say, about the 10-minute mark, and then we had 13 kills in the next 3 minutes. So it's like, maybe not do that again. I think like a lot of the problems from EDG start to stem out from that point. And it's like, well, if we don't just have a Fiesta, then we can actually be more controlled about the plays that we do go for. We can actually make sure that all the plays that we go for are made with precision. And we can actually make sure that we just stay ahead. Because, hey, we have the advantage in this game. Let's just not throw it away on a dumb play.
And most of them have been this guy on your screen, Haru. Of course, he could have went towards that honey fruit and got himself some extra mana, but he's just dealing as much damage as he can. Hasn't actually been seen yet.
Yeah.
So he's going to secure it top lane.
Ray following through. Potential for the flash. I mean, the flash is down by AJ, but doesn't know where the rest of the team is. Chieftain in the shadows right now. I think he just spotted him on try.
2 minutes till the Infernal Dragon. Everyone's just going to disengage. It means that the Herald is secured. The Drake is secured by EDG. It hasn't given them a gold lead by any means or by any stretch at all. We have to consider that with the advantages they're starting to accrue, if the second Infernal goes over, then they are in the lead even though it's not reflected through the gold.
Big deal though for AJ to have his flash down. Still has a stopwatch, but again, draining these resources from the Gangplank makes it easier to crack him. The EDG are looking to make a similar play from game 1 and actually have the history rewritten. Maybe actually make that dive happen. But Ray was enough for him to push AJ back. Once he get these minions pushed through the tower.
Hello.
Overload, full combo.
Smacked.
Got him. Sends him back to base. He was doing it anyway, but we'll say that he sent him back to base.
Actually choosing to stay Haro just around the corner. They have to assume there's vision where Scout was, so you can see Haro not going around the corner, not revealing himself actively. Instead, he's looking to defend and protect his mid lane and clear the cannon wave. This is also getting eerily close now to the Dragon spawning before they get the recall off the Scout. Should be well and truly in time, however, so big item spikes should be seen across the board for EDG. Same thing cannot be said for BLG, however.
Shadow Dash misses. Knock-up coming out there. The Troll King into the bottom lane as well. Forces the flash from Mako. Aro was there just in time if he needed it with the old respite, but not needed here today. 20 seconds left on this Infernal. Okay, still binding there.
There's a teleport.
Actually, I don't think I've seen him miss a binding, to be honest. Here comes the teleport down to the bottom lane. No binding, but has the Soul Shackles and the flash as well. Ray jumping forwards as will Mako. Jumps back onto this play. Teleport down into the bottom lane as well from Mole. But BLG carrying this one back well. They will manage to escape from the play.
Constant damage, not even a teleport considered by Amazing J, however. Herald getting summoned, may just get a full charge off, and EDG, they're bringing the minions forwards for this. They're not going for the Dragon immediately. They're plays for the turret. Amazing J perhaps trying to trade on the opposite side is what EDG are considering. So they're going to make sure that they get the upper hand on this. They might go for the 2-for-1 play as there is no Rift Herald alive, there is no trade available on the top side with that Dragon.
Might play it safe though. Roden with no ultimate. I feel like another push right here would, you know, not be off the cards. iBoy's going to give it the soft push, but no full commit. It's going to be the safe option. I mean, EDG know they can guarantee themselves the Dragon. There's no reason to push further into the bottom and potentially lose that play with main J's ultimate, perhaps. But I feel like there was enough of the resources down from BLG where, you know, it's a pretty high percentage play.
And that was good from EDG across the board. Once again, they've slowed the game down. If you compare it to game 1, it felt a bit too chaotic, a bit too fast for anyone's likings, particularly on EDG's side. They were messing up their executions. Their decision-making wasn't completely there. This time around, fairly infallible in the choices that they are making. Starts early, continues through. Ray with the good teleports, and EDG starting to forge that lead. Once again, not reflected in gold, but still very notable with double Infernals on a Darius and a LeBlanc composition.
Yep. And know that prediction, by the way, it will indeed be another Infernal, triple Infernals in this one. Seems if you have 2 in a row, it can't not be 3.
Clearlove's birthday, after all. EDG will get themselves 3 Infernal Dragons as a potential possibility. And if the last one was something that BLG wanted to fight for, the next one is a must-do.
What's it going to be after that Infernal, Rusty? 1 and 3.
Mountain.
Mountain. I'm going to say Ocean. We'll see.
It'll be air now, and we'll both just feel bad.
Yeah, 100%, 33% wrecked. Ginger and Ray are going to take down this tower though, evening it up in terms of towers. But where are EDG mobilizing? That is the question. They're actually sending Mako towards the mid lane, Scout doing the same. But take a look at Chieftain. He's well behind enemy lines, placing down deep vision into that brush right next to Raptors right there.
I mean, all of BLG are behind enemy lines, so to speak, with where their positioning is on the map right now. They've committed themselves to the extra turret. There's no response available from EDG. Their focus will go towards the middle lane. Now, I don't think this is a bad trade from EDG if they can get the turret, but look at the timing from Bilibili Gaming. There's no minions mid. There's no wave to enable EDG to push. They will get there in time. Scout cannot play defense by himself.
We're actually closing the gap right here, ready to defend, but that puts him in the firing line right there, looking for the chain to follow up on the Dark Binding. Doesn't quite find it. No, Ray was moving towards the mid lane if they want to try and fight, so BLG know that he shouldn't engage.
But even the correct target gets bound. The person that can get away safely, has Mercury Treads, is the one that somehow finds himself in the perfect position. So BLG, they play that one very well, actually, on the backside to give themselves a turret and prevent EDG from trading at all.
Yep. And you'd like to think that that was preordained, that Road positioned himself within the portal, that he was on the front, but Road, not really a man I think of, I don't pair Road and subtlety together in the same sentence necessarily in the small things. I think of broad strokes and I think of big plays, so.
Road plays checkers.
Yeah.
Everyone else is playing chess.
But he's bloody good at checkers.
Oh, he is the best.
That's what matters.
He speed runs checkers as well.
He absolutely does. For now though, we're encroaching on the 20-minute mark here. Baron will be spawning in 50 seconds. And BLG firmly here in this mid-game.
There is still the AD carry advantage for the side of BLG, so that is of note moving forwards. Of course, there is a Kindred. The Kindred does not do the same thing as a Zarya does, ripping through 5 members of the enemy team. So it's always going to be a big late game insurance policy for the side of Bilibili Gaming, where EDG have got iBoy playing Morgana, and that's not exactly the mechanical genius champion that iBoy is used to having. It's not his late game Lucian carry that he could play. Just hit the binding, make the play. It's all very sound, easy League of Legends, and if he can find the shields, then, you know, absolutely EDG could find the fights. The advantage should still be with BLG back at that stage in the game.
I feel like it's fair enough to ask this question, given that BLG are 1 win up, and EDG are currently leading this game in terms of pressure. Who do you think is going to win this game now, Rusty, with all this added context? Because I know that as play-by-players, you know, we ask good colours, like, what do you think? We're like, oh, I'd like to see Champions Select first. Well, you've seen more than that, Rusty, so what do you reckon?
Pulse, we are 20 minutes into a game with 1,000 gold the difference.
Correct.
If you want my prediction on who is going to win, it's
the
still
series.
fairly 50-50. I would say that the next Dragon decides.
The whole series?
No, the game.
Just
the whole
the game.
series, I mean, I can't answer that.
Boo.
I predicted
The
EDG.
worst. Fair enough.
Does that help?
There you go. Yeah, that's okay.
I selected
bit of a
them
cop out,
for
but
my
I'll
tips.
take it.
You know, yesterday when
What's
I
that?
predicted Rogue Warriors for Match of the Week,
Yeah.
I was definitely saying they would lose the game, but I predicted them. That's what matters.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're not wrong. Oh, hello. Miles located himself a Ray.
That's a lot of
lot of damage, yeah. I mean, he's only built armor. He's not prepared to go up against an AP damage dealer.
And that wasn't a ghost from Mole by any means, just a phase rush. If he had ghost, I think the kill was on there. May have actually looked for it.
Yeah.
Also has the Oblivion Orb, so a bit of a flat magic penetration is all Arise would need.
Well, Darius isn't going to be that tanky at this stage in the game when compared to that, but now he's gone back to base. It's like, I need some defensive items. He's gone and picked up his stopwatch, as has Scout actually, simultaneously. So they are preparing for a potential rumble in the jungle, perhaps down the river as well, near
now's
this
the time,
Baron.
Now is absolutely the time to start the fights, to look towards the vision control. It's not a Baron dance, but it is something of a fairly similar amount of priority right now. That's where the question actually comes up. Do you give EDG 3 Infernals and control the Baron? Or do you have to come over and contest them? Because I would expect you have to come over.
I reckon it's a bit of a salsa actually, a little bit fiery, given that Inferno is on the menu. Will be spawning in just a couple seconds from now. But that was Road chunked down to half as he gets a bit of his health back, but EDG are choking BLG of vision currently.
That's what happens when you get there first. EDG start, they've got the LeBlanc who excels at sieging and at picking people off if they have vision control. So that's what EDG are looking at right now. Scout, blow someone up, find the rump roasting, look towards the objective.
As the goal right here, roast some rumps. And here comes Mole, he's coming to the bottom side. Ray there as well with Scout. It's going to be a pincer, but they actually blow it wide open right here. Ray buys a bit of time and Road low. He will be taken out by Mako. Flash of ball from Haro. He pops the ultimate. Who's actually helping? I can't tell right now. That's going to be Iboy taking so much damage and finally he goes down. Look at Mole right now. He's putting up the hurt. He's putting up the damage. He finds 2. Turns on to Mako. He gets the triple. Looking for the quad here.
He wants 5.
He wants 5. He wants the follow-up. Scout. Jukey Juke jumps over the wall. He wants this one, but it's not going to happen. Still a quadra to Mole.
4 kills for the Rise. You saw how much damage he was dealing to Ray just in that little trade before. Well, now it's to the entire team of EDG, and suddenly they do get themselves the Infernal Dragon. Uncontested. Minion wave crashing bottom as well. None of that to be secured by Edward Gaming at all. Scout just going to come in and pick up the scraps, and you find yourself in this situation where we mentioned BLG scaling. And you see a mid-game team fight against double Infernals. And all it takes is picking off Ray. And here's the thing, Mole has done his damage check. He knows that he can kill Ray, so the confidence there, I have no doubt in my mind that Mole was calling the fight. They found the target. Iboy just gets shredded and has to disengage. Mole flashing forward to secure. And Scout, whilst he has the fancy feet on the back end of this and denies the pentakill, it looked pretty epic with the dropship coming in there from Mole. The confidence play on this is the 5th, no hesitation.
Oh yeah. I mean, maybe at the end of the day, only one person should have taken the old dropship, and they could have come in from 2 angles. But who cares? It's still a quadra. Mid lane being pushed in right here. BLG looking for the outer mid turret, something that EDG were actually not too long ago looking for themselves. BLG suddenly on the upper hand, the upper foot. Whatever limb you're talking about, but they're doing well because, as you said, that was into double Infernals.
The
and they've got one themselves.
The big brain advantage.
The big brain. The big brain. You said Mountain, right? It's going to be Mountain.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Hey.
We got it.
We did.
Drake.
As a pairing, we nailed it. 66% crushed it. Anyways, Haro clearing out the vision around Baron. Somehow EDG have managed to sneak in here. Feels like resource allocation. BLG is putting a lot towards the bottom side. They're actually sending Mole down there because he's got his TP.
Now, if we are going to play the prediction game again, Pulse,
okay.
We said whoever wins the Infernal fight will most likely win the game.
You said that.
I did say that. Yep. That was me.
Yep, do it.
That does mean that if BLG are able to continue this game through after winning that fight, the game should be in their hands and the 2-0 series should be there. We'll have to see, of course. They have to actually do that, but they've got the advantage. They've got late game. Can they get there successfully?
That's the question. I will say that the... oh, hello. Mole's walking through the jungle, and in his natural habitat, he's locked Scout down, but he's taking them for a walk himself. He's got Shen on top of him. Mole,
he's in trouble.
Mako, everyone's got the follow-up. He is in a world of hurt. And Ray will find the kill.
Walking through the enemy jungle without a single piece of vision.
One does not simply walk into EDG's jungle.
Just trying to find himself a Ray. And would you believe it, with the area of the map that he doesn't have vision. The enemy team was there and they found him.
Shocker.
He'll feel a little bit salty about it. At the end of the day, BLG, it's just one kill and they get a turret for it. But what they lose is control around the river, control around the Baron, and the mid lane.
And the bot lane. Ray's pushing in there as well. He's got the minion wave there. Good old GP ultimate. Looks for the assassination on Jin Zhao. Bloody hell. That was a lot of damage. He's probably going to have to go back to base right here. Chieftain rotating towards his mid lane. And Ray will also rotate in from the bottom. But still, Scout showing that he actually has quite a lot of damage. Sat on 2.5 items right now. Has the stopwatch himself. He's going to be nuking someone in these team fights. Now, I will speak to Jin Zhao once again in that last team fight. Slightly misjudged the direction he wanted to throw the Feather Storm. Might have actually saved him in the last fight. But will have to be fast on the trigger finger, because there's a LeBlanc running for him.
Yeah, that's the thing though, right? When you throw the Feather Storm, often your mouse isn't going to be facing the direction that you want to throw the feathers. You're using it as a reactive tool to dodge damage from your opponents. And, you know, best case scenario, you throw it towards where the enemies are, pull the feathers back.
Get the root.
There's still a win of... Hang on, Amazing Jay.
Talking about root, looks like AJ is about to get rooted in the top lane. Here comes the teleport in from EDG. They want this man dead. A lot crispier than the first time we saw it in that first game, and EG find themselves yet another pig back to back.
And that man is very dead. Super dead is Amazing Jay. The stopwatch is, again, a bit of a waste this time around. Of course, you compare it to game 1. Massive waste in game 2 comparatively, and BLG have been caught out not once but twice. Back to back. Mole in the bottom lane with the shutdown given to Ray. An Amazing Jay on the top side. Now, AJ is 0-3, so he's on split push duty. He's trying to take the turrets down, and it does mean that at the end of the day, AJ is the one with teleport. BLG, EDG rather, are not going to commit themselves to the objective, and we'll get ourselves a reset, but slowly and surely, the control starts to shift to EDG.
Hello. Instant rotate over to the Baron. Burning this one down very quickly. It's underneath a ward, but there's the teleport. It's coming in from BLG this time. Haro, you might be able to make it over the wall, but Rowe with the body block, can he get over the wall? It's actually getting stopped right now! Chieftain with the steal, and the confirm rather, and Haro in enemy lines will eventually fall. Binding comes through, doesn't connect, but he's still going! Mako looks for the engage, and Morgana with the soul shackles onto 2, but now they turn once again. This is disastrous!
BLG
Ray
winning.
Turning it around, and Ray, ball in the China shot, finds one, gets shut down, shoots down the ball. 2 more kills, thumbs up, double thumbs up at that, 5 kills for 1.
And so good for BLG using the Rise ultimate, going to the Baron immediately, and they do so much damage that the only option EDG have got, the only choice Edward Gaming have, is to face check, sprint in, and try and flash over and steal the objective, but it can't be seen. Haro cannot outsmite Chieftain in this case. And the problem with EDG is they continued with the fight afterwards. You call it a day from that point, but they still commit themselves. So they don't lose just the Baron, they lose all of their members and a mid lane inner turret. That is disastrous.
I'll tell you what, I don't know if you heard that war cry coming out of AJ on the backside of that, but that was absolutely blood-curdling, to be honest. Completely silenced Shanghai. And BLG instant rotation, well played to them.
And it's great. Notice that the Rakan uses the ultimate to actually get these X Herald procced and power Jin Zhao's damage as well. They wanted to maximize DPS, get the Baron down. The flash was in, it was in time as well. Spell shield was on, but leave Haro, leave him. Do not go back in. Even with the binding missing, Mako still chooses to go. That is a massive failing in decision making there from Edward Gaming. Not ceding the objectives, choosing to go forwards and take the fight. Look at Mole. He'll just rip through everyone's health bars, working with Jin Zhao. Clean team fight.
I mean, that was the problem, really. I mean, it just looked disappointing there, honestly, from EDG. You're absolutely right. Shouldn't have looked for the re-engage coming off of that one. At the same time, Ray wasn't even close. He was rotating from the bottom side. He was late to the play, came in on the back side of that fight. And EDG right here, just in not a good position. I mean, BLG are primed to take this. We're on the verge of double upsets today.
This could be back-to-back upsets from the top teams in the LPL. This is EDG with a desperate bush camp at the moment. If they find it, then they can get the kill. Chieftain has pillars. Rakan usually throws Qs. And bottom lane,
under our position. BLG just walk into this one. They look for the engage. Rogue goes deep on this one. Finds a double charm, but Ray's under attack. Looking for the ultimate. Good. Lamb's respite, but we're just taking a timeout right now. Finds a turnaround scout on the assassinate, but is it enough though? Because they just lost Eyeboy.
Keep going bottom. BLG may even threaten ending the game right now. EDG have no health bars they have to recall.
This is a big wave. And this hardly even was a comeback. They were just ahead the whole time. This wasn't in the narrative. This wasn't in it at all. BLG are running it down the mid lane. They go into another fight. It's going to be messy on this one. We've got multiple members focusing on the Nexus. They're getting a little bit hyphy right now. Only Chieftain on the Nexus. Can they stop the Trundle? 1 versus 4. They stop him. Give them the phones up, lads. You've stopped the end.
EDG hold the game. It was a big force from BLG, and it's not going to find them the game-winning team fight. It was close, but close isn't enough. Just a bit of a disjointed communication from them there. They choose to end the game instead of just playing it back to front. So nice little pick up there from EDG. They've got an opportunity to push forwards, but it makes you wonder, you know, what are they going to get, if anything? They were in their own base, so an outer turret is what they'll settle on.
Tell you what, Rusty, I was feeling it. Fully support that BLG play. Fully support Chieftain gunning it towards the Nexus. Could have probably won the team fight if everyone was focusing on it, but
absolutely.
You're feeling it. You go for that push in bottom side, you crack open the base, and you're like, yes, now's my time. Pop down the frozen domain, let's do it. But it didn't work out in the end.
Pulse. You cannot beat putting down the frozen domain, cracking open the base, cracking open a cold one in celebration. Just having a good time on the Rift all around.
All right, let's see that craziness again, because I want to see how many people actually committed to the play.
Jin Zhao's not hitting the Nexus. Yeah. That's the problem here. Mako, the taunt is dodged. Haru and Mako now dealing with Jin Zhao, and there's just no chance to actually end the game. Tanks deal no damage to the Nexus. They deal no damage to objectives in general. And so no one actually supporting their carries to hit it means that they hold EDG. It's good execution, good target selection in a clutch moment.
It really was. And I'll tell you what, I mean 100%, because we're in the studio right now in Shanghai, and BLG are screaming at the top of their lungs. Like, you guys, I'm sure you can, no matter what country you're in, you're probably hearing AJ yelling. It's absolutely insane. He's feeling it. The team is on the verge of sweeping Edward Gaming right here in a massive upset. Again, BLG 2-6, EDG 7-2 right now in the LPL, and BLG about to put the final nail in this coffin.
We're nearing the 35-minute point in the game as well. I know the Team WE are called the Elder Dragon team, but BLG are called the Miracle Makers at the same time.
That's what I'm talking about! Charge it down! Let's go! Chieftain, Rose, Mole, they're on it! BLG sweep them tonight in Shanghai!
They pull the drop ship play, they get the Rise ultimate in. It's not just the Baron that they get, it's the Nexus afterwards. BLG, they get the 2-0 and they look damn good doing it.
That is what I'm talking about, BLG. That was a hype play to end it. Couldn't be in any other way. And this day, the protagonists, it was barely a comeback. They just rolled over EDG, let's be honest. And it was definitely them playing up to the occasion. We said it in terms of narrative. We said, oh, well, they always play up on the day. Well, you've just got definitive evidence. That's what they do. Great bout coming in there from BLG.
But they did it back-to-back. That's the thing that really gets me with BLG. You know, JD, they're a top team. They'll always go to 3 games. BLG, they're a bottom team, but they always take a map. But 2-0 to actually find 2 in a row is very impressive. They have consistency and they're able to execute on it. The person that I'm looking at for this game, this whole series, really. Now, I know Amazing J got MVP in Game 1. I'm still looking at Mole this time.
Yeah.
Mole went 4-0 in Game 1. Mole was assassinating the backline. He was putting in so much work, and that was the missing piece of the puzzle for Bilibili Gaming this entire split. It was Chieftain and Mole not playing very well. This is them playing up to where they should be.
100%, but it's also playing in the pressure situations as well. And I remember saying this about Rogue Warriors the other day, but I feel the same is true for BLG at this point as well, and especially Mole right there. I mean, Mole literally burrowed towards the enemy Nexus, and in that tunnel, all of BLG followed. And he just slammed the Nexus. There it was. Everyone was on the call. It wasn't sloppy in the decision. This was pre-planned. Looked fantastic.
And I would put money on the fact that he was the one making the calls as well. When you're playing the Rise, I can use the ultimate. This is what we're doing. And he's the one who gets the Quadra. He's the one who gets the Baron. He's the one who starts off the Nexus dive as well with the Rise ultis. At the end of the day, very good performance from him. But also just good in general from BLG. And smart through the little details and through the big details.
It's good across the board, and to be honest, I'm looking at this composition here from EDG and not even like, well, they misdrafted this one. Like, there was a lot of good things that I loved about this composition. Seeing the Kindred again in the jungle, looking at the LeBlanc, for someone like Scout, where you can make those plays. You know, like, yes, it's very aggressive, it falls behind, you do struggle, but you have playmaking ability from your big major players, and you just didn't really see any of that in that game.
Yeah, the one thing that I would be looking at is, you know, it was successful for EDG in their set against Suning Gaming, but this time around the Morgana Shen bottom lane was exposed just that little bit more. It wasn't getting the kills. BLG seemed to know exactly how to play around it.
That's true. It was landing the bannings, but didn't really see the rest of it in the end of the day. Anyway, that's going to do it from us at the desk. We are going to send it back to the analyst desk, however, to take a look at that series and close out the day.
Thanks, guys. And I want to start this where we kind of started the last game, which was EDG drafted another composition which needed to get ahead early, needed to snowball later on. And they were lucky in the sense they were able to pick up 2 Infernal Dragons with a third one spawning eventually, but they never found an opportunity to create leads for themselves and only picked up those minor objectives while also trading behind against BLG when it came to turrets too.
Yeah, it's a very Haro-centric composition. We've been seeing Kindred Morgana as a combination very common in the LPL so far, and the idea behind it is that, sure, Morgana can't finish fights, but if you get your Kindred fed enough in the late game, you're going to have a hyper carry with a lot of range. The problem for EDG's composition is that they showed their hand early, and they didn't get any lane kills. That was the big problem. Even though they got the first blood onto the Gangplank, it didn't really affect the lane state, and they couldn't snowball the Kindred even further. So you're looking at a composition that has to walk into the enemy team and doesn't have a lot of sustained damage. And BLG in the late game, where they're very strong, will absolutely crush this composition.
I mean, there were a couple of times where even Amazing J was playing very safe in the top lane when there was nobody around, just because he didn't know where Haro was, didn't know if he could get ganked and taken down that top lane, provided EDG the opportunity. Even in the bottom lane fights that we saw being attempted by EDG, BLG were quick to disengage, quick to back off. The first fight really took place around the third spawning Inferno Dragon. Now, at this point, EDG hadn't created those leads. They weren't able to find any way to snowball, so that third Inferno was definitely a point where you think, okay, BLG might try and start a fight here, and they did. They forced it while EDG was split up, and it was a very nice force from them.
Yeah, and this was very close from EDG, but I want to pay attention to Haro's ultimate here. He does not manage to save the Darius, and iBoy doesn't make it in either. So a very large missed opportunity for them. With their main damage dealers gone already, it's only Scout left to save the world, and he can't do it alone. This is a massive turning point because this was the only chance that I felt like EDG still had a reasonable shot at winning teamfights at that point in the game. After that, I agree with Rusty completely. Their time was over. They couldn't find the 5v5.
You were telling me while we were watching that exact play being set up, which was if BLG can wait for another 5 minutes, their composition will be online regardless of the goal. They can start to win these fights. The Infernal Dragon was the spanner in the works, which would actually disrupt that because they had to fight around the third Infernal. Didn't want to give away that powerful objective. Successfully did so, even though it's very close. 2 alive for the side of BLG and only 1 member left in Scout for EDG. They still stopped that, allowed that bridging time for the comp to come online. And then we saw them start to make some cheeky plays. We saw the drop shit into the Baron, making sure they could pick it up nice and early and surprise EDG. And Haro was just caught walking. He couldn't get to the pit in time to steal the Baron buff.
It was such a smart play coming out from BLG. They actually expected 2 members to be down in the bot lane. They ran the exact same play in the previous laning phase as well, where 2 people try to catch out on Mole. And this time around, they said, hey, we're going to read your play. We're 5-man stacked in mid. We're all going to go straight into Baron. So very smart psychology. And you could see those Ling Shilu brothers really reading each other's minds quite well. You can see at the bottom of the map, LeBlanc is still there in the bottom lane. Previously, Scout also tried to catch out Mole with the same setup. They realized they've been punked, come into the lane very slow, and watch this pillar from the jungler coming out. It really does stop Haro from getting in the pit soon enough, and he just can't get the smite up. But then EDG lose their collective minds. I don't know. I don't have a good answer for you. I think it's a complete wash here.
This is EDG with, as you said earlier, a Haro-centric composition without Haro's ultimate, and they still decide we're going to force a fight against a BLG who has a gold advantage and Baron buff to boot. And you were talking about Chieftain's pillar position, fantastic. Haro couldn't jump into the pit. It was a criticism we gave towards Casa when when RNG lost both their Barons against Rogue Warriors last night. He could have used the Lamb's Respite to try and stop that from being taken. Would have been a very similar situation. If he jumped in and dropped down the ultimate, took away Chieftain's smite, he could have stolen it, brought it back in EDG's favor. but then mistake after mistake, and they just lost from that point
And
onwards.
you have to wonder what's really happening with EDG because we are reading true signs of desperation for them. They know their comp can't really survive into the late game. They have to go all in, even though the chances are very, very slim. That's my read on their mentality at that point. But my question is, why even put yourself in that position? If you're not performing at your peak, do you really want to mess around with a composition that can't do anything post 25 minutes, that really requires you to snowball incredibly hard? And we've seen EDG play with these comps, especially in 2017 at Worlds. This is the type of comp they ran against SKT. They had massive leads in both games, but it's also a very fragile composition.
So do you think it's just a composition thing for EDG in both their matches today? Because it looked like individually they were playing fine, but is it just a composition problem?
It's kind of a recurring issue with EDG, and I think they have players where they can play different styles. They can go with a more steady, just teamfight style and just brawl it out with someone else, but they're not willing to do it. They're very stuck in their ways of playing that mid-game tempo that we're talking about. So they do draft themselves into these holes, and a lot of the times what EDG do in draft is that they show their complete hand. They showed that they wanted the Kindred, they showed that they wanted the LeBlanc, and a lot of the times you can't give the opponent 2 counter picks in jungle and mid and still say, hey, I'm going to run the show in terms of the early game. That's just not a reasonable expectation, even if you're that good of a team like EDG.
Well, we saw that after that, BLG were able to push through the bottom lane after taking down the first 2 turrets very early into the match. They took away the inhibitor. They went for a cheeky play. They knocked everyone down incredibly low. They could have just taken the fight like Rusty and Pulse were talking about, go front to back. Decided they're going to rush the Nexus. Didn't work out the first time, but they just repeat the process and say, you know what, we'll drop into the base. Let's just end it right here.
You have to put EDG in their place. You can't let EDG trash talk you before the game. EDG said that they were running Lingsi Road. But BLG said, no way, we're actually going to be the ones to do it.
And Mole picks up man of the match for doing so. He played incredibly well. We saw him pick up a quadra kill, a dragon fight, dropped his entire team onto Baron, dropped his entire team into the base to end the game as well.
Yeah, he's willing to go for something much more unorthodox against the LeBlanc coming out from Scout. We don't see the Ryze pick this often in the meta anymore. It's a bit of a slow champion. He did start with the Merc Treads as well, but it was a good pick into Scout, and he read the situation correctly. He played safe. He didn't let any snowball happen from the mid lane, and he just let EDG's composition die on its own.
Yep, and allowed BLG's composition to come online later in the match. We already talked about it setting up very well. Good signs of life for BLG. Rusty said it earlier, they're the team that will go to 3 games, but they will always drop the best of 3 series, just picking up 1 game here and there. So with their form coming into the LPL, with the drop in form after the past few weeks, and now a win against EDG, this might be the start of things looking better for BLG towards playoffs.
It might be. I feel like BLG understand themselves very well. They know that top lane is going to play very defensively, so they found themselves the Gangplank pick, which they found a lot of wins on. They know that the bot lane is still best on Xayah and Rakan, so they're going back to that. But overall, there's still a lot of questions for me. I feel like their jungle mid still plays a very slow type of style. And against teams that run the early game much harder than EDG, teams like Invictus Gaming, for instance, teams like JD Gaming, for instance, I'm not really confident that BLG can hold this style.
So it's a good milestone for BLG, but they're still yet to be tested against early game aggression teams in the LPL. But that's the end of the broadcast today. So let's take a look at how the standings look for the LPL at the moment. Because with that loss, EDG dropped to solid second. Still a game played more than Rogue Warriors. Rogue Warriors have another match later to play in this week to try and catch up. Also, for BLG, they tie with LGD on the Eastern Conference, making it that they're 1 point away from catching Sunny after a disaster of a start for them in this split.
There's just been so many upsets happening over here.
Plenty.
Like TOP taking down JD
4-6
today,
now.
FPX taking down RNG, and then EDG falling to the bottom of the barrel. BLG from the Eastern Conference even managing to take a win. So a lot of what we consider as the strong teams in the LPL are now being challenged. We're seeing the second wave, the mid-tier teams really pop up with their own styles and saying, hey, you don't get to take the crown automatically. You have to go through us.
Looks like a lot of the teams did their practice while the top 4 went away for Rift Rivals, were able to shape up heading into cross-conference.
Is that the conspiracy?
That's a conspiracy theory right there. But they were able to do well, so far in cross-conference, things are shaking up, but today was a day of upsets. Let's see if tomorrow is going to be a day of upsets as well, because we will not be broadcasting the LPL in English, but Suning will take on WE, and LGD will take on OMG. You can watch that at doyu.com or panda.tv to catch all the action on the Mandarin broadcast.
We have a lot of questions for the mid laners this day. Suning coming in with the new player in Angel, and she is still trying to get his team out of the 1-8 hole that they've created. In the second match, we have Yuki versus Icon, our two premier assassin players going head-to-head.
Yep, it's going to be fun to watch. We will not be broadcasting those games, but we will return on Friday with the English broadcast. If you want to watch that, these are the matches that we're going to have on Friday. Vici take on FPX, as well as RNG against WE. The two semi-finalists from Worlds last year will clash.
Oh, and that has to be such a hype matchup. Both of these teams not really performing up to shape so far, but maybe seeing each other again will rekindle some of that fighting spirit.
Especially for WE. I mean, RNG dropping games recently, sure, they're still top of the table, or close to top of the table. WE, only a single win so far, Clement.
Yeah,
not looking good.
no wins in Xi'an so far. That's a very disappointed stadium. Their only win has actually been in Chengdu. So they really need to have something to show for that home crowd.
At the longest, the curse is actually expanded for a stadium team. But that's the end of our broadcast today. Remember to catch all the matches on the Mandarin broadcast tomorrow, and we will be back on Friday. On behalf of Clement, all the casters we had today, our entire production crew, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on Friday.